Welcome to Yuma School District Number 1 Governing Board meeting for the month of October, believe it or not. Due to the health situation with COVID-19, Yuma School District 1 will hold our meeting to the public virtually via YouTube Live. The public is invited to view virtually on the District 1 Facebook page. Recordings of board meetings are accessible on our Facebook page. And at this time, if we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, item 2, adoption of agenda. I need a motion to adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting. And a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Fox, seconded by Ms. Montoya. All in favor?
Aye.
Item 2, board report. Number 1, any board member have a report to give?
Well, I did visit some schools, and I went to Raleigh, McGraw, and Gila Vista. I think it was Wednesday. So the first thing I noticed is that, wow, what great effort to keep everybody safe, even just getting there. You know, I had to sign a waiver at one of the schools. Couldn't go into the office. You know, I had to wait until just one person at a time, which is great. I mean, all this was wonderful. At the elementary schools, I peeked into some of the classrooms, and the children were all on task. It was Wednesday, so it was not the hybrid teaching, but they were still getting lessons. Some of the kids had masks at their desks, some didn't, but that they were at their desks. But everyone I saw away from the desk had their masks. It didn't seem to affect them. They were just on task. They were happy. They were smiling and waving at us. The spacing was, 6 feet apart in very small numbers. So it was good to see that. And the principals shared some of the challenges that they've had. I asked them point blank, what are your challenges and what are you the most proud of? And so the challenges were dealing with the uncertainty, and the changes that were constant and still can be, keeping everyone safe. But all of them spoke about their commitment to providing equitable instruction, whether they were hybrid or remote. They're very committed to giving good quality instruction, no matter what parental choice has been, and I really appreciated that. They shared their pride in their staff, the adaptability of the staff, their professionalism, their determination, along with the concern for the safety that the staff also has. It was interesting because it was kind of around lunchtime how every school does the cafeteria thing differently. At Gila Vista, the staff, Mr. Nunez and several of the non-classroom staff deliver the meals to the classrooms. At McGraw, I got to see the kindergartners come in to get their lunches. And they have little circles, and the circles are 6 feet apart, and the children know exactly what they do. They stop on the circle and do a little squirrely little things that kindergartens do. And then when the child moves up, then they go forward, and it ran very smoothly. And again, they're happy. They're not upset or anxious or anything. It was just very calm environment. And it was a joy to see with my very eyes what is going on in the schools. So
Thank you, Irene. I think they're more adaptable than we are as adults. It's easier for them to accept change.
yeah, exactly.
I would like to read a letter that the governing board wrote to every District 1 employee. Mrs. Foote, our president, did the letter to all of us for input, which I appreciate her giving us that opportunity to input. So we've all had a little bit of input. We felt as a board at this point in time that it was very, very important that every employee of District 1. It's just a thank you, but I'd like to share with everyone the letter that we are asking to be sent out to all employees. To every District 1 employee, the school board wishes to extend a heartfelt thank you for the great work each of you have done for our students since the appearance of COVID these past 7 months. We realize the countless hours that you have spent strategizing what needed to make each of your schools ready for our students, in compliance with the mitigation plan, preparing for online learning, cleaning and ensuring safety, planning and furniture moving for student distancing, bell and class scheduling, transportation, food preparation and distribution, deep cleaning, messaging to parents and the public, policy drafting, grant money reconciling, and so much more to deal with the changes that were needed to ensure safe learning. All of the above was accomplished for one goal, so that our students would receive the best education possible during this pandemic and be safe. We are happy to have finally hit the benchmarks where District 1 is in hybrid learning mode, and from all we have heard, it is going great, all due to your commitment to our students. Once again, a sincere and heartfelt thanks for all that you have done and continue to do for the students of District 1. Sincerely, Barbara Foote, Karen Griffin, Irene Montoya, and Teresa Fox. And just a little side note, that does come from our hearts. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. Any other report from the board?
Oh, we had that virtual regional.
Yes, we did. We had the countywide meeting.
Yeah. And it was good. It was good. I appreciated the breakouts.
I did,
We
yeah.
could talk with the other board members from different districts, and, you know, everybody shares the concerns, and just, it was good to share that. It's important to do that.
And I think we had 100% attendance from our board, didn't we?
Yeah,
Which was great.
and a
I
lot
thought it
of
was very
them
well structured.
with the same concerns. too.
Yes.
I thought was interesting.
That's what impressed me the most is that, and we were not in each other's breakout sessions, but the breakout session I was in, I was the only one from Yuma County, and to hear the other counties and express, and it's pretty much the same concerns we all have been having and experiencing these last 7 months. So it was nice to know we're not alone, even though we're down here in the southwest part of the state. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thought it was very well done. Okay, moving on to item 2.1, High Five program. Mr. Munoz.
This is Griffin, governing board members. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We are excited to celebrate and honor our September High Five employees. And we have a fantastic group to present to you tonight. We had over 80 nominations submitted for September. So it's incredible. It's an incredible task that the Celebrate and Honor Committee has to do every month and narrow that down to the top 5. And we've got a great group. So before we get started to hear the video, I want to make sure everybody has their clappers ready. We're going to be using them. All right. Let me see if this is going to go through.
Should have made sure Barb had hers.
All right. Let's give them all one more round of applause. At this time, we would like to recognize our High Five employees individually. They're all going to get a High Five t-shirt they can wear on Fridays, a High Five pin, a thank you card from the governing board, a High Five certificate that they can post in their office, in their home. And then what everybody is looking forward to is the $25 gift card from Chili Pepper. Thank you, Chili Pepper. They continue to sponsor our program every month, donating 5 gift cards to our employees, and I just think that's fantastic. So thank you, Chili Pepper. So our first employee is Jamie Walden from the district office. Jamie, are you there?
I'm here.
Any
Just a
words?
side note on that, Jamie was a member of the school board for 3 years, Jamie.
Yes.
So I guess we could say we taught you everything you know.
Sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I just want to say it's a real privilege to work here and with such great people. It's really great.
Well, congratulations.
Our next employee is from Raleigh Elementary, Christina Bensaida.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say thank you to my Raleigh family for taking me in, moving all over across the country. It's so nice to have a family in Yuma, that's for sure. So I appreciate them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. From Palmcroft Elementary, we have Monica Hughes.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for the wonderful validation and support. I'm proud to be a Panther, and I'm proud to be at District 1. Thank you so much.
Yay. From Dorothy Hall, Ana Rivera. Ana, are you there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
We can hear you, Anna.
Hear you.
Oh no. Okay, good. Thank you guys so much. Sorry, I don't know if my video is coming.
Yeah, it's coming through.
Okay. Thank you, and I love you in school. I have so much fun every day. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. And last but certainly not least, from Roosevelt Elementary, Marta Esqueda.
Hello, good evening. I just wanted to say thank you for this evening's recognition. It's extremely special to me. I love our students. I love being part of the Roosevelt Tiger Team family. We have great teachers. We have great leader. And most importantly, we love our students. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you to all. We are so privileged to have you on our team. And we just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. So thank you, Governing Board. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Luciano. Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Well deserved. Item 2.2.2, donation recognition, Mr. Sheldon.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, we are still benefiting from the generosity of our community in the form of donations. We have some donations to highlight here. Alice Byrne received a donation from Kroger for $210.02 for educational supplies. Dorothy Hall received 2 donations from DonorsChoose.org. One for Mrs. Newell's classroom project, Looking to Rock This Year, in the amount of $369, and one for Books for Comprehension, estimated in the amount of $588, and that's also for Mrs. Newell's first grade classroom. And also Dorothy Hall, APS Supply My Class has put out a grant opportunity, and they have won at Dorothy Hall 2 $500 Visa cards for Mrs. Doughton and Mrs. Newell through that APS Supply My Class program.
Yeah, that's great.
Carver received $1,500 from the neighborhood Walmart.
Wow.
$1,500 worth of binders, folders, composition books, hand sanitizers, and other materials for their classrooms. Raleigh also from Walmart Supercenter, paper, plastic folders, and other materials in the amount of $700. Raleigh Elementary School, Mrs. Butrago's class through DonorsChoose.org received a donation estimated in the amount of $2,661.97. Those are just some of the highlights of this month's donations that added up to $7,190. And that brings our year-to-date total to $58,291.54. So again,
That's
we're very
amazing.
grateful to various entities in our community that are very supportive of our school district.
I always like to see donations from your large corporations like Walmart and Target, because
Kroger.
typically they make a big splash about donating locally and you don't really hear about them. So it's nice to see that happens. Thank you, Mr. Sheldon. Item 3.1, District Financial Trends. Ms. Valenzuela.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, governing board members. As of September 30th, we have spent 17% of our maintenance and operation budget, 61% of our capital budget, 6% of our computer consortium, 6% of our purchasing consortium, 8% of our transportation, and 39.6% of our bond. And as I stated at the bond meeting, once we finalize all the invoices for Ron Watson, the bond will be spent 100%. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Valenzuela? Thank you. Item 3.2, enrollment counts. Ms. Valenzuela.
Thank you, Madam President, governing board members. We do continue to see a decrease in our student enrollment. Our 40th day enrollment shows a 5.39% decrease compared to last fiscal year. And as stated at our last board meeting, we will revise our budget accordingly in December after our 40th day is reconciled at the state level. And then we will utilize the CARES Act grants along with any additional M&O carry forward to offset the enrollment loss this fiscal year. Any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Valenzuela? Thank you. Item 3.3, Galileo Benchmark Assessment, Comparative Results. Mr. Shepherd.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me first of all? Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen. And I don't think my screen is showing right. Let me try that again.
It's like movie credits.
Oh, let me, there we go. Now, do you see blue bars in front of you? Great.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth, because I can see you. I can see you helping me out here. I appreciate that. So let's talk about Galileo. Galileo is our benchmark assessment that we give to our students. We give it to them 3 times a year. We give it to them at the beginning of the year as a pre-test, and that's what we're going to look at tonight. And then we'll give them benchmark number 2, and we'll give that in December, right before they leave on Christmas vacation at the end of the semester. And then we'll do benchmark number 3 at the end of the year in May. After all the state testing is done, then they get to persevere through one more test for us. So that's overall. What do we test? We test ELA, we test math, and we also test science. Those are the state mandated testing areas, as well as the federal government's mandated testing areas as well. So this year, because of COVID-19, we were in a very different environment, the way that we went about testing. Our middle schoolers took it all online, and they did it in the month of August. And in general, most of our elementary teachers elementary schools took it in September. Some of them got it done I think some of them began and got it done in August, but most of them got it done in September. And they did it all online. So this was a very, very different environment for testing that we've never had to use before. Now, all the kids are used to using the computers on the test, so that online part was fine. It was being at home, being in a different environment in that setting for that So the big question that we all had going into this year was, let's explore and compare last year's benchmark assessment, the pretest, to this year's. Because last year, at this point, we were still in a normal year. Kids were attending school 5 days a week. They were going full day. By the way, I'd love to see that happen here. Let's get that going. And then, so Chris Everett set out to compare those, to compare last year to this year. And so here's the results, and then I have some comments that will go along with each of those results. Let's talk about ELA. ELA is English Language Arts. It includes both reading, language, and writing skills that are tested. And so when you look at that, you can see what we did is Chris and I averaged it overall so we could get just a feel for how the district did. And in the areas of ELA, we had a decrease of 1.5% across the board. The interesting thing was grade 3, where grade 3 was performed equally to last year's third graders. We thought that was really good news. And then our big chore was to figure out, so what does a 1.5 decrease in scores equate as far as months of learning? So we know how Galileo works. We know what their daily expectation of growth is. And so we calculated that instructional loss to be about 2.5 months. So while yes, we were expecting that, what we didn't see though was the 6-month loss that you might have heard in a lot of the literature and the research that's being done. As school districts are talking about, we've lost a half year of learning. We haven't lost a half year of learning, and that's great to know about District 1. So let's move on a little bit to math. And the way, of course, to look at that is the first bar, the lighter shade is the 2019 score, and the darker shade is the 2020 score. Now in math, if you look real closely, you can see that 2020 outperformed 2019. And so we're just tickled by that one. We had a 1.5 increase across our math scores. And if you look at real carefully, you'll see that grades 3, 4, 5, and 8 performed slightly better than last year's students did. And we're thinking, that's great. We'll take that. That's real. That gives us a good sign of maybe some good curriculum, maybe things that are just really well instilled in kids as we go through our Eureka Math, our Zern digital content, and our in our district. So I think that was a really good sign. Grades, please notice on grades 3 and 5, those numbers that you see, those are called developmental level scores. They're basically a scaled score in the testing field. Those 2 scores are on track to meet proficiency by the end of the year. So we're really excited to see grades 3 and 5 that already on track to meet that proficiency. Grade 6 and 7 that didn't perform equally to last year. Chris and I were figuring out that they lost about 1.5 months of instructional time. So still not this great chunk of time that they have lost, but they did lose a little bit of time. And I know that our teachers are working hard to put in that learning that maybe didn't occur last spring, and they're helping kids catch up. We're excited about that as well. And then let's move down to science. Now, science is interesting because we're no longer going to take the Ames science test that we've taken for like the last 6, 7, 8 years. I can't remember when we brought in Ames Science. But Ames, the ASEM 2 science, no, it's going to be called Arizona Sci science test, is coming in, and it's going to be administered to grades 5 and 8 only, where the old Ames test was grades 4 and 8, now it'll be grades 5 and 8, and it's going to be cumulative. So grade 5 is actually going to review on their test grades 3 and 4 content as well as grades 5. And grade 8 is going to have their cumulative test based on grade 6, 7, and 8. Now, when you look across the board there, you think, wow, our kids are really doing a nice job in science. And so hats off to all of our science teachers and the science digital content that we're using to help kids learn science. They performed at an increase of about 0.5% better than last year. I'm all about increases over last year. And grades 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8 performed a little bit. If you look real closely, those are the grades that performed a little bit better than last year. And grades 4, 5, 6, and 7 are actually on track to meet proficiency for this year. So there's some really good news coming out of the science area. So some final a final thought about all this is that we do have Galileo 2 coming up in December, and we'll be giving it to our students in a hybrid environment, and so that will be a little bit the testing parameters will be a little bit different for that as well, and so that way it also give us an opportunity to look at how well and to compare to last year, how well our kids are growing academically. So we're looking forward to that test. So what do I want you as the school board members to take away, and how do I want you to talk to the community about us now that the community is listening? So here's some things that we want to think about. Based on Galileo pre-test, District 1 students didn't experience the expected academic gap and slide. District 1 students are resilient and they're strong. And if you think about our students and you think about the endurance and the perseverance of what our kids deal with every day in a high poverty district, that really shouldn't surprise us. Their resilience is great. And so I'm just really pleased and thankful for over 8,000 kids who persevere with us every day and are taking this in stride. Our teachers continue to work diligently on hybrid remote teaching. First of all, just a big round of applause to our teachers who come to school every day, who work so hard to help our kids learn in a very, very different environment that most of them were not trained in. And so for them to come this far and to do this well, what we're looking at in our academics, I'm just really pleased. Thank you so much, teachers, for all that you do for us. So what else do we know about the teachers? And this is some of the cool parts that I get to see walking around, and that is I get to see some effective remote teaching strategies that continue to be developed across our district, and teachers just love to share all of those great strategies that they're using in the classroom to build those relationships first, and then to teach our kids in the academic world. And those two are just coming together. They're being integrated beautifully, and thank you so much again, teachers, for your work. And thank you to our students. Our students are doing an amazing job. Can you imagine being a student who comes to school, who up until 2 weeks ago was coming to school on a computer at home and learning in a very different way that we all had question marks about. And so our students being resilient, being strong, they're hanging in there. Hats off to our students. Thank you so much, students. And our last part that I would think so much about is our parents. Parents, thank you so much for your diligence and your perseverance for hanging in with us as we navigate a very different way of teaching and to stay with us. So why do I talk about our teachers and our students and our parents? Because that is the partnership that we have in our district. And look at what the partnership is bringing to us in a very different world right now. Our academics didn't slide nearly what we've were told to expect, and they didn't. And it's because we just have a great partnership between teachers and students and parents that we're able to get our work done. So at this point, I will field any questions that you might have.
It's a lot of info.
Yes,
It's good info.
Any questions?
great info.
Fire
Any
away.
questions for Dwayne? I have a couple.
Okay.
Why is the difference, Dwayne, on lost instructional time on the ELA and the math where it says grade 6 through 7 lost 1.5 months and 3 through 8, 2.5 months? Why is there a difference in that lost time? Does it have to do with just some of the timing of the test or when it was completed?
So Karen, one more time, what two numbers were you looking at?
On ELA, grades 3 through 8 lost about 2.5 months of instructional time. And then on math, grade 6 through 7 lost 1.5 months.
Okay.
So why is there a difference in the, I don't know, to my brain, it should be the same.
Okay. So here's I did think about that one. One, I think we have a very strong, it's been in our math curriculum for a few years now. I think we're in year number 6. Randy probably might have a different number, but it's going to be around 6 years that we've been in that, and we've been teaching that way. So about 6 years ago, when these guys were kindergartners, they're now in 6th grade, and I'm wondering if this is just being instilled in students. It's because it's deeper teaching, and so our students are actually connecting to the math better. Our parents know math a little bit. I think they can help in that area of math a little bit easier. So that might be that might be one reason. So if we think about English language arts, we also think about well, this is about language, and in a highly bilingual district. So we know that we have kids who are still obtaining 2 languages and acquiring those 2 languages. And so our reading scores might not be where we want them to be. And so I think that's maybe we have some language issues there that we're still learning. I think we have an excellent core curriculum now that we went through year 1 with, and now we're on year 2. And I'm thinking though just staying having fidelity to that core, that we're going to see that, hopefully see that decrease shrink throughout the year. So I think some of it is, I would say, probably a language, maybe a little bit more language deficit than anything in math.
Thank you.
An
That
answer
makes
for
sense.
a great question.
Any other questions? Just a comment, these numbers are awesome. Based on a note, based on some of the emails that we board members have received from parents, their main concern is, has been loss of education, loss of learning, loss of socialization. But this proves that the loss was not as bad as everybody thought it was going to be. The gloom and doom of learning by remote didn't happen, at least not in District 1.
No, there is no gloom and doom story here going on.
I just think it's,
at the moment.
our staff and our parents, just kudos to our parents.
Absolutely. Hang in there. I think that just has to be our message to everybody. Keep going. Keep hanging in there. Your kids are learning.
Yeah. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you,
Okay.
Chris.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item 3.4, a summary of hybrid learning enrollment. Dr. Alka.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the governing board. We're just going to take a few minutes to look at our hybrid model of learning, and I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. So we have been so excited to welcome our students back to our hybrid model of learning. As all of us have visited our schools throughout the district, there has been so much enthusiasm and joy as many of our students have returned to our classrooms. We're just going to take a few minutes to highlight some of the practices taking place in our hybrid model of learning. If you'll remember, we've had this slide before in front of you, but just wanted to remind everyone of the learning tracks that parents have the option to choose. Following the benchmark set by the Arizona Department of Health Services, District 1 schools safely began hybrid in-person learning on October 1st. Parents were able to choose from these learning tracks. In the hybrid 2-day learning track, students are in their classroom for 2 days each week, and they learn remotely the remaining 3 days. With a hybrid 5-day learning track, students are in their classroom 2 days each week and participate remotely on campus during the remaining 3 days. And parents also have the option to choose to continue to learn remotely and still be connected to their school. This slide just shows an example of what a weekly hybrid schedule would look like. We have two cohorts. We have cohort A and cohort B. So, for example, a cohort A student, last name A through L, would be in-person learning in the classroom Monday and Tuesday, and learning remotely either at home or on campus for the remainder of the week. Cohort B students would be learning remotely on campus or at home Monday through Wednesday, and then be in person in their classroom Thursday and Friday. Students receive instruction from their teachers regardless of where they are, whether they're learning remotely or in the classroom. They'll be continuing to receive that same instruction. This next slide just shows the numbers or the percentages of students who are attending each of these learning tracks. So we have for the 2-day in-person hybrid for group A, which is Monday and Tuesday, we have almost 18% of our students district-wide in the 2-day in-person hybrid. For group B, which is Thursday and Friday, we have 17.34% of our students, so almost equally split there. In the 5-day in-person hybrid, we have 22.78% of our students learning in that way, and 41, almost 42% of our students remain in the 5-day remote learning track. So as you can see, our parents have chosen various learning tracks throughout the district. These numbers are not exactly the same across all schools. Some schools have more in one group than another, but overall, these are our district percentages, and it helps us to look at trends across the district. Next, we're going to look at a few of the health and safety measures that are happening on campus. So staff disinfect each room and space daily, paying close attention to frequently touched areas. You'll see here an electrostatic disinfecting sprayer, which helps to disinfect surfaces more efficiently. Additionally, signs have been posted for each campus and work site to highlight important guidelines, special areas, occupancy capacities for small rooms, and to remind everyone about important hygiene routines and practices. Social distancing reminders are visible through the use of floor decals. And additionally, desks are placed 6 feet apart in our classrooms. School meals are packaged daily and made ready for easy pickup by both remote learners and students on campus. Students now pick up their meals in the cafeteria and then return to their classrooms for breakfast and lunch. I'd like to introduce Rindy Ward, who's going to be talking with us about instruction in our hybrid model. Rindy?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. We're going to take a look at what in-person learning looks like in the hybrid model.
So sorry.
Students begin their day in a morning meeting, which connects all students both in person and learning remotely. Teachers use their camera and projector so all students can see the same instruction. Students are able to ask questions and receive support, whether they're on remote or in this classroom. Our middle school students receive instruction in the same way without changing classrooms. Rather, students remain in one classroom and each subject teacher connects remotely. Homeroom teachers remain in the class and are available to assist students in person. I just want to say how hard both teachers and students are working in the classrooms, and really it's amazing to see, because you're thinking you have students seated in the classroom and seated at home or wherever they are, but the teachers are really working hard to blend that classroom so it's seamless. It doesn't matter where they are, they still are part of that teacher's classroom. And this is happening in every single classroom in our district. It's quite amazing to see.
Thank you, Rindy. I want to add as well my thanks to everyone, our teachers, our administrators, our parents, our students, for continuing to work with us as we navigate this new system. And it's just been very energizing, I believe, for everyone to have students back in our classrooms and be able to see them in person. So that's been a wonderful development. Does anyone have questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a few comments. I'm glad you showed the cleaning that goes on, because we don't see that, but it's so thorough, and thank you for the staff that does that. So, so much is different and new for them. I saw that joy in the administrators that I visited with, their joy to have the students back.
Yes.
And their commitment, as I said earlier, to safety. And I think I'm just so very thankful that parents have a choice. And so they've chosen what they're comfortable with. And I'm very thankful that we're able to offer that. And the teachers are incredible. I mean, when you see how you showed that, I can't even imagine teaching that way. I taught for 30 years. I can't imagine teaching that way, but how wonderful that they have adapted and developed these strategies to reach out to students that no matter where they are, they're getting quality instruction. And the whole child, because they're getting the PE and
the arts and the music.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Alka and Rindy. Appreciate it.
Thank you all so much for your support. Appreciate it.
Item 4, call to the public. The governing board welcomes statements from residents and appreciates constructive suggestions and comments that help meet the educational needs of the district. A form to submit your comments, suggestions can be found on our website, www.yuma.org. The completed form should be submitted by 4 p.m. the day of the meeting, which is traditionally the second Monday of the month. And we're meeting today on Tuesday because of yesterday being a holiday. Do we have any call to the public?
Nope.
Oh, Christine, I'm sorry. I'm looking right at you. So, okay, thank you very much. Consent agenda. Approval of these items are of a routine nature, and those that normally do not require deliberations on the part of the governing board. A board member certainly can pull any items which will be discussed and voted on separately. So are there any items of the consent agenda that any board member would like to pull at this time? Hearing none, I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes, or excuse me, the consent agenda for the October governing board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Mrs. Montoya, a second from Mrs. Fox. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 6, action items. Item 6.1, consideration to approve a resolution for School Bus Safety Week, October 19th through the 23rd, 2020. Ms. Valenzuela.
Thank you. Madam President, governing board members, at this time, I would like to turn it to our Director of Transportation, Mr. Sheepers.
Yes, thank you very much for recognizing this School Bus Safety Week this year. So I'd like to go ahead and read the Yuma Elementary District 1 proclamation for School Bus Safety Week. Whereas approximately 480,000 yellow school buses carry 26 million children to and from school every weekday. Whereas America's 480,000 school buses comprise the largest mass transportation fleet in the country, 2.5 times the size of all other forms of mass transportation, intercity buses, commercial airlines, and rail combined. Whereas during the school year, school buses make more than 10 billion passenger trips daily, carrying the nation's future, our children. Whereas school bus transportation is 9 times safer than traveling in a passenger vehicle and is the safest form of ground transportation available. Whereas school buses meet higher construction, equipment, and inspection standards than any other vehicle, and school bus drivers meet higher qualification, training, and testing standards than any other driver. Whereas the governing board of the Yuma Elementary School District 1 is committed to the safe transportation of more than 2,500 eligible students daily, traveling more than 1 million miles annually on more than 100 school buses. And whereas the support and assistance of every citizen of Yuma County is vital to the safe transportation of the students while on the bus, traveling the public streets of the county, and while at the bus stops. And whereas the governing board desires to encourage School Bus Safety Week. And whereas the week of October 19th to the 23rd, 2020 is designated as National School Bus Safety Week. And whereas School Bus Safety Week, which is celebrated in more than 40 states and sponsored by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, was created to remind all students of the best way to get on and off the bus in an effort to enhance the safety of our nation's children. And whereas the School Bus Safety Week, which dates back to 1966, also recognizes the hard work and dedication of school transportation personnel, especially the many school bus drivers who ensure a safe journey each and every day. Now therefore be it resolved that the governing board of Yuma Elementary School District 1 supports the goals and ideals of the National School Bus Safety Week, and it be finally resolved that the governing board of Yuma Elementary School District 1 recognizes October 19th to the 23rd, 2020 as School Bus Safety Week and encourages all citizens of Yuma County to take extra precautions and keep a watchful eye for students and buses going to and from school.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
We need a motion that to approve the attached resolution declaring the week of October 19th through the 23rd of 2020 Yuma Elementary School District 1 School Bus Safety Week in conjunction with National School Bus Safety Week. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
First, Mrs. Fox.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Montoya. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I just want to say that's another sign that we're slowly returning back to normal when you're out driving around and you see the school buses.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
It was very nice to see that the other day. Thank you, Ron, very much.
You're welcome.
Item 6.2. Oops. I missed Lisa. 6.2, National School Lunch Week 2020 resolution. Ms. Thrower.
Yes, Madam President, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go ahead and get started. Yuma School District 1 celebrate National School Lunch Week, October 12th through the 16th, 2020. To recognize National School Lunch Program serving nearly 30 million children each day, Yuma School District 1 schools will celebrate National School Lunch Week from October 12th to the 16th, 2020. The theme this year is Now Playing School Lunch, puts the spotlight on the importance of a healthy school lunch in a child's life, which is important now more than ever. School lunches offer students fruits and vegetables, whole grains, milk, and meet federal nutrition standards limiting fat, calories, and sodium. Currently, our district is offering meals to all children 18 years of age or younger at no cost. The Child Nutrition Department is offering breakfast, lunch, and a snack each child that requests a meal from the cafeteria. Parents can also request these nutritious meals to go for their remote learners. This USDA waiver will remain in effect until June 30th, 2021. Program and food has been fueling students' success for more than 70 years. YSD1's Child Nutrition Department has been a tradition in our community for providing tasty and healthy meals for our families for many generations. There is evidence of continued need for nutrition education and awareness of the value of school nutrition programs at both the local and national level. Our district supports this valuable program and encourages all of our students and families to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. It is an action item, so I need a motion from the board to approve National School Lunch Week will be recognized by Yuma School District number 1 for the week of October 12th through the 16th of 2020.
So moved.
Second.
First, Mrs. Montoya, second, Mrs. Fox. All in favor?
Aye.
Lisa, kudos again to you and your staff for everything you guys have done. You kind of get left out there, but we just assume you're going to be there. So, and thank you for that assumption. We do appreciate it. I know our families do.
Yeah, it's really a great program, and it's wonderful to see all the families. And I know that our staff would definitely appreciate the kudos. Sometimes we don't get forgotten. I think actually our employees have a lot of love since the kids have been back at school. We've heard a lot of really nice, sweet stories of kids being so happy to see their school nutrition workers, and also the parents that are happy to have us working. So we definitely feel the love. I can tell you that.
Good. I just have one question on the waiver from the USDA. I know we had some issues this year with that. We weren't sure if that was going to happen. So it could happen again next year?
It's going all the way until June 30th, 2021. So technically the only month in the entire school year this far, we've only been in the National School Program for lunch program for the month of August, which means just 1 month that we weren't able to give all free meals. It did hurt us a little bit. We weren't able to give access to all the families, and we did lose a little bit of our reimbursement money, but I think we're cruising on. We cruised into September. We're already mid-October, and our numbers are really getting high, and we really are reaching out to those families to let them know that meals are free. So I think the word is out there, and I think now that kids are back on campus, things are flowing a little easier, and it's easier for families. So I definitely think our program is one to watch, and we will keep our numbers high. So we're happy.
I have a question. Will there be Any meals during the 3-week winter break?
We have not discussed that at this time, but we can definitely look into that, Irene.
Yeah. Just because of the situation, how so many people
Right.
have lost work and,
Right. I know other school districts have, across the state and across the country, have maybe limited their, instead of having all, maybe for us, example, we wouldn't have all 17 sites, maybe have a limited number and like that, because there are also employees that want to work in the winter time during that winter break to make extra money for the holidays. So I think it would be a win-win for both to definitely look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay, item 6.3, consideration to discuss, approve the 2021 draft of ASBA political agenda. Mr. Sheldon.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, this has been a great board meeting because my great team has been doing all the presenting, which is
Yes,
pretty nice.
and you do have a great team, by the way.
Outstanding team, yes. Last month, we tabled this item because the delegate assembly is not until after this board meeting, but I believe that the board has come to a decision on some items for the political action agenda for Arizona School Board Association that they would like to endorse entering the delegate assembly. So I will turn it over to you.
Okay, I will be attending the ASBA Delegate Assembly virtually Saturday. And I had asked each board member to please present to me any items that they felt particularly passionate about to make sure that that was a part of the proposed agenda. And I was very pleased to see all four of us pretty much agreed in line with what we felt were very important items that I'll be bringing out to the delegate assembly. Just to highlight the maximizing the state funding. Another one was revising the school finance formula. And we all agreed to fully fund full-day kindergarten. So I was just really pleased. We were right in line, all four of us, with what we think is important for our district. So
I don't think the school finance program has been revised since 1940.
I know just that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that hasn't been revised.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I guess that is an action item
Yes.
that we will approve. I need a motion to approve the political agenda draft for 2021 ASBA Delegate Assembly.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Fox.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Montoya. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 6.4, consideration to approve the 2019-2020 annual financial report. Ms. Valenzuela.
Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So, Madam President, governing board members, the annual financial report represents the financial activity for the fiscal year 2019-2020. Arizona revised statute requires that the report be approved by the governing board on or before October 15th of every school year. I have provided everyone with a copy just in case it's difficult to see on that screen. For fiscal year 2020, our base support level increased by $192 from the previous fiscal year. $81 was for inflation and $111 was for the teacher salary increases, the 20 by 20.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Oh, we thought we lost you.
No, I'm still here.
Just waiting some time to digest the information.
Our budget objectives for fiscal year 1920 were to honor that legislative intent to increase our teacher salaries. That fiscal year, we increased our certified staff salaries by 5.5%, 6%. And if you recall, the certified salary increases, the categories are based on years of service. So 1 to 3 years received a 5%, 4 to 9 a 5.5, and 10 plus received the 6% increase. That year, we also addressed the minimum wage requirement, also known as the Prop 206. That employee group received a $1 increase in January of 2020. Other staff received a 1, 1.5, and 2% increase, and this other group includes our district admin, principals, nurses, occupational therapists, psychologists, and supervisors. And then the non-Prop 206 group received a 50-cent increase. And then also that year, the district absorbed a portion of the health insurance increase. We absorbed $243,000, and we passed along a $25 fee to our employees that year. This is the instructional spending chart. These categories are set by the Auditor General, and with this chart, you can see the different positions that fall under each category. So as we get into the presentation, you can use this to kind of guide you what's under each category. And one thing to note here is that the retiree insurance also falls under an administrative cost. So this chart shows our total M&O expenditures by function. In fiscal year 1920, we spent $48.7 million of our maintenance and operation. Of that, 53% was spent on instruction, 7% on student support. And if you see your chart, you can see what falls under the student support category: counselors, nurses, health assistants. 1% was spent on instructional support, and that would be your librarians, any paraprofessionals, coordinators, professional development. And then 11% of our total expenses were spent on administrative costs. 6% central services. This is mainly human resources, finance, any technology services. And then 13% was spent on maintenance and operations, and 9% was spent on transportation services. Of the $48.7 million that we spent out of M&O, 76% was salaries and benefits. 19% was purchase services, so that $9.2 million you see there includes any professional services that we contract with. So vendors such as our ESI substitutes or Menta, Desert Choice, Presence Learning. And then 5% was spent on supplies. Our total Prop 301 expenditures for fiscal year 1920 were $3.3 million. Out of these funds, our certified staff received $7,000 in addition to their base salary. So again, these expenditures are all salaries and benefits. Our total capital expenditures that year were $2.9 million. 53% of our total expenditures were spent on instructional aids. So iPads, mainly iPads. We had some benchmark advance payments here. This is our curriculum, and any digital content that we purchase for our students. 1% was spent on student support services, 2% administrative costs. A majority of that was laptop refresh. 3% went to operation and maintenance of our facilities. 23% to student transportation. We did replace buses that year. We utilized some grants for the buses, but we also had to pay a portion out of the district additional assistance fund. And 18% to debt service. So this is our Climatech lease that we have for our energy efficiency projects. That ends in fiscal year 2031. And our Cisco phone lease, which ends in fiscal year 2022. Are there any questions?
I just have one, Elizabeth, on that debt services.
Yes.
The I'm assuming that's the solar energy that they
That's one.
the parking lots, and that expires next year?
Fiscal year 2031. The phone lease expires fiscal year 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, those were all any energy efficiency projects throughout the district. So thermostats were replaced, I believe, that year that we went into that Climatech lease, fluorescent light bulbs, light switches in the classrooms.
Okay. So next year we'll apply for a lease for that, or how does that work?
No,
Do we
so
have to put it out?
we have to pay every year. We pay principal and interest on that.
I got it. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And then we receive a report from, on the energy savings.
From Climatech?
That we realize from the work that they've done in the energy savings area.
Any questions for Elizabeth? Now, do you need us to sign this tonight, Elizabeth? Okay.
Yes, I have given Alice an original.
That's what,
yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Madam President, I would like to just say one thing. We often
Absolutely.
hear criticism of public education about the amount of money that goes to administration. I don't know if you saw recently that Arizona has the lowest per pupil administrative costs in the nation, and our administrative costs are about 56% of the national average. And even with the retiree insurance that we pay, our administrative costs are commensurate with the state average. We're just slightly over, but if you took that retiree insurance away, we'd be just slightly under. So when it comes to getting dollars to kids, Arizona is really good at it, and we're right there with Arizona.
No, and I appreciate that too, especially in this climate of the political agendas everybody has. And that's one of the comments, it's on one of the ads about the money's being hidden for administrative costs through the districts, and because it's higher, supposedly they're saying it's, anyway. Okay, we need a motion to approve the annual financial report for 2019-2020.
So moved.
First, Mrs. Montoya.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Fox. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item 7, future agenda items. Does any board member have anything they would like to be placed on a future agenda for the board meeting?
I just like numbers. We don't need a presentation. It could even be part of a Friday report, but numbers of students receiving transportation.
Okay.
And numbers, if it's available, I don't know, you can track this, but students receiving food services. Just,
okay.
I don't know, but can you check? Just be nice to know.
Anything else for the good of the order? I just, it doesn't have to be a future agenda item, but something maybe in your Friday report. Operation School Bell is available to address kids, not in the manner that we've done it in the past, of course, but you know, if you have a child in any of your classrooms that needs school clothes, please give School Bell or myself a call, and we'll make arrangements. You still will need to provide them transportation to the facility, but we're ready.
I know some of our schools have started to make some plans in that area, so it's such a great service for our community.
Well, and it's now that we're getting kids back in school, it's just so important for their morale and peer support. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that Operation School Bell is available. So, hearing nothing, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys for not